Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of the program. Barb, one of the biggest challenges for home sellers is that classic real estate catch-22, having a house to sell before they buy their next home. So how do home sellers get the highest price when they're selling their home and yet know that it's going to be sold?
Well, there's a lot of options for sellers now, more than there ever have been, and that's part of what we do for our home sellers is we actually show up with at least 10, 12 different offer scenarios so that they can actually sell their home for cash and still get the highest price for their home and be able to buy their next home first. That is the lowest stress way of selling your homes. If you have the financial ability to buy your next home first and then sell your current home, the stress level comes way down. But not everybody is in that financial position to do that. So we have some solutions for you. Number one, just sell the house. So once you get it under contract, most home sellers will accept a offer contingent on that home selling, as long as it looks like it's moving along the way. But another thing that I find people kind of are hesitant on is if they say, okay, I want to sell my house, but I don't have a destination lined up. That's a problem. And that usually stops most home sellers from doing anything until they find the love at the destination of where they want to go. And then they make the stars align to make it happen. Um, Now, if you make an offer on a home contingent on your home selling, there are risks that another buyer could potentially beat you out. That just happened on one of my listings where they made a couple of offers on this home. It was contingent on their home selling. Their home was not on the market yet. Plus, they came in with a lower price, which to me, if you kind of have that ball and chain of a home that you have to sell first before you can perform, you need to make a really good offer on the home that you're going to buy. But some of these agents don't suggest that, and then they get rejected. And then sure enough, another buyer comes along that makes a better offer, and then you don't have a shot at doing that. So that's why it's really good if you want to tie up that property to make a decent offer. But we've got a lot of special financing programs out there. There's a couple of companies that will actually give you up to 70% of your equity, and it's not a loan, it's actually a lien against your house. So basically, let's say you had $400,000 in equity of your home, then they would place a lien on your home for that much. The cost of the money is only 2.4%, but you don't have to make payments, you don't have to qualify for it. And then you have another 120 days to sell your house after that. So that's a good option. We also have a whole bunch of cash offers that will come in and give you comparable amounts of your equity up front, right? They'll give you some of your equity up front. They then take ownership, resell the home, and give you the balance of your equity when it resells. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of options out there, and we do that we can put any address in the country into our cash offer platform and show up with a half dozen or more offers on other people's homes. And you know what? What's interesting is I've tried to present those to agents that had a client. So their client wanted to buy my listing, and I'd say, look, I can put that address. What's the address? Let me put it into my cash offer platform. Oh, look, I've got 8 offers on that house. Can I present these offers to your client? The first time I did it, the answer was no. I'm like, what do you mean no? It's an offer. You know, no, we're just going to do it traditionally. I'm like, okay. I imagine if the seller knew that, they probably wouldn't be happy about it, but that was the answer. And then the other one did present them, and they were like, no, we want more money. I'm like, all right. And then guess what? They ended up not getting the dream house that they wanted because they didn't open the door for the solution that I handed to them when they made their offer. So that's what we do that makes us different is we actually show up with offers. And I talked to a lady last weekend that has a house to sell in Florida. It's paid for, it's beautiful. And she currently has an agent out there that she felt like was not performing. Like Richard, the agent showed up 30 minutes late for the open house. Uh-oh. That's pretty bad, isn't it?
That is horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not how you represent people.
It's terrible. So that and some, not getting feedback and not having any solutions for her. So I took her house and put it up on my cash offer platform. I'm like, boom, I got 8 offers on your house right away. And I explained a couple to her that would work for her. And so she was thrilled to have that conversation. And I can connect her with a good agent in that location. So I'm not licensed in Florida, but it was fun to play the game and just see what the reaction would be. So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to discuss selling your home, we can do that. Give us a call at 719-301-3900. If you don't have to sell and you can buy your next home first, of course, that's the best scenario. But we also offer a guarantee of 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference. So to find out how that works, you just have to call us 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. I have over 28,072 buyers in waiting just on my little website. Plus, I can find another 700 buyers that are a high match for your home through my marketing. So it's really targeted marketing, looking for buyers that are looking for a home like yours. And that's what makes us different. Most agents show up and they ask to put your home on the market and then go find a buyer. We don't do that. We show up with a handful of buyers. We give you options and choices and backup plans. Those are always in place if you don't want to do that and you're thinking about doing something different. Richard?
Barb, you know that you and your team are the only company I ever recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes, or they know someone who's thinking about selling their home, work with them, relative, thinking about downsizing to a smaller home. To reach you, Barb, people need to just call 719-301-3900. It is your favorite time of the show. Barb, what do you have for hot new listings?
Well, Richard, I'm always excited to highlight my new listings and the ones that I have on the market right now that are really cool. A couple of them are actually owned by the Secretary of Veterans of Affairs. So just so you know, it breaks my heart to hear that a veteran had to foreclose. But I think a lot of the folks are getting caught in a couple of different things right now in this market. One of them is if they bought at the peak of the market, anytime between the end of 2020 all the way through the middle of 2022, they probably had to face competition and were in bidding wars against other buyers. And they got VA financing, which is 100% financing. Then they tack on the VA funding fee, which is like 2 to 3% on top of the loan. So if something happens and they have to sell in a short period of time, they don't have any equity. And then you add on top of that, Richard, this part just blows my mind that they go out and they get convinced by a solar company to put a solar system on their house. And those cost, I don't really know, I'm just guessing, what, $50,000. Well, Richard, I have a lot of great listings to share on the market right now. Three of them that are actively on the market are owned by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. So the way that works, and it's sad for me to say, but there are some veterans that might have to foreclose on homes. If you bought a home back between 2020 and the middle of 2022, and you got caught up in a bidding war on homes, and then the prices softened, and then the rates went up, right? At the same time, you may not have enough equity 2 years later to be able to sell your house and break even, especially because the VA funding fee, which is a form of mortgage insurance that gets tacked on to the mortgage, adds to the loan balance. And then there's some people that go out, Richard, and put a solar system on their house. Those sales guys, they're amazing, right? They could talk anybody into anything. And the cost of those is like between $35,000 and $50,000. So, okay, you get a low electric bill from that. However, if you have to sell your home, that whole system has to be paid off. So that effectively wipes out any equity and more. And that we were seeing some of those houses actually foreclose in the past year. If for some reason the owner got in trouble and couldn't resell the house because they didn't have the equity to do it. So we're seeing more and more of those. Last year, they had a moratorium on owner occupied homes that were with a VA loan. They couldn't foreclose on those, but this year they can. So we'll see if that changes with the Trump administration, but right now it's a bit of a problem. So we're seeing some of these properties pretty nice hitting the market. One of them on Fay Drive, that one has some problems that need to be resolved. So if a buyer's going to buy it, they're going to have to get what they call a rehab loan. You can do an FHA rehab loan, a conventional rehab loan, or a VA rehab loan. And those lenders will actually loan you an additional $35,000 or whatever on top of the sales price of the home to do whatever remodel needs to be done. The work has to be done by professionals. But in this case, that home on Fay Drive, somebody went in there and vandalized the plumbing. So they cut up the plumbing so they could sell it for drug money or whatever. And somebody also severed the wire on the furnace. And the VA is not going to fix it. So there we go. We've got a really beautiful home down in Fountain on Ithaca Street. This home's 2,800 square feet in the mid 300s with a VA assumable loan. Did you know, Richard, that anybody could assume a VA loan? Did you know that?
I did not know that. I guess I thought it would have to be a veteran.
No, does not have to be a veteran. So it makes those listings very attractive because the buyer could come in, they just bring the difference in cash between the seller's loan and what the sales price is, and they are able to assume that loan with this current payment. Some of these older VA loans 2 or 3 years ago have 2.5%, 3% mortgages, which is like giving a buyer $250,000 in interest money as a gift at closing. That's why they're very hot. I have 2 more VA repos, one on Wallowing Way in the mid 3s, one on Yuba, and there's also another one on Rubicon. These are beautiful, almost new homes that really, there's nothing wrong with the property. There was something wrong with the financials of whoever owned that home before. I have a gorgeous home on Crandall Drive with a finished basement in the low 4s. Just on the market today. We're going to be featuring that on an open house this weekend. 14279 White Peak Drive, beautiful 2-story, right across from the Air Force Academy in pristine condition at 444,999. A really, really adorable home up and divide on Friar Truck at Friar Tuck at 399,999. Really cute on 1.5 acre, adorable log cabin. It'd be a great mountain getaway. I have a beautiful home on Almagre Peak Drive, priced at $609,999. This gorgeous home looks on to the Air Force Academy in a great location, D20 schools. A gorgeous home on Winged Foot Drive up in Larkspur with gorgeous like Garden of the Gods views. A beautiful home over in the Powers area that's very modern, very vertical on Hunter Jumper in the mid 4s. And a gorgeous house in Briargate at 489,900, as well as a beautiful custom home with a 5-car garage on 411 Sunbird Cliffs Drive. That one's priced at 1.5599 and more nines. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. If you want your home to be featured on barbhasthebuyers.com that has over 10,000 clicks a month, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker, the host of the program and the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you are thinking of making a move, call Barb, 719-301-3900. Or as always, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Great talking with you, Barb. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Have a wonderful week.